JT Thunder, and
And the stash, baby, but it's gone right now. So I'm
yeah,
working on that winter beard, guys.
clean shaven. It's coming back a little bit now. So
Yeah, we had a very eventful this week for me and JT ourselves. We both had a birthday, and I got married, so that was a big moment for me
oh
in my
yeah, big
life.
milestone.
Yeah, big. But yeah, we're here to bring you guys some awesome podcast topics.
Starting off, Coach Prime and Colorado football taking down TCU, the former runner up champs. I mean, they didn't win it, but they made the championship last year, so they are surpassing expectations week one. Nobody thought they'd beat TCU. Nobody. And Travis Hunter and Shadur Sanders put on a clinic today, man. I mean, those two. I mean, Travis Hunter especially playing both sides of the ball, 110 snaps. I mean, golly, man, that's ridiculous. I mean, the dude is a athlete at the end of the day. He's got something special.
I really liked it. Like I watched some of the highlights earlier for it, and I was really impressed. I want to see how they play against better teams. I think TCU fell back further than where they were last year by
Hmm.
much, and so like especially after that championship game last year. Like let's be real, there's a bunch of blowouts today. I don't know if you saw. Like I saw a lot of blowouts, and Dion was calling for Heisman Trophy already,
That's a little premature. I don't know about that, but
especially
I
since
mean
Caleb
they've got to
Williams.
they've got to prove themselves. I mean, they've got. I think they're playing USC this year. I'll have to double check their schedule, but that's going to be a really tough game because Caleb Williams is the former running up Heisman, and he's probably going to repeat this year as another Heisman Trophy winner. And at the end of the day, I feel like their defense is probably going to help, or not help, but probably going to hurt more say their chances of making a deep run this year, whatever their goal is. It's not going to be a playoff spot, but they could make a good bowl game from where their program was. I mean, he's probably got some high expectations for that program, but their defense did not look good today against a TCU team that lost a lot of weapons, like you said last year.
That's true.
So they're going to have to prove a lot to us. But today they looked amazing. So
I
that's
did
all you can
double
go
check
off
for
of.
you. TCU does not play USC this year, but
Okay.
USC's got a interesting schedule. I don't know if you saw, but like you made a prediction earlier this year about the Washington Huskies,
Mm.
and they played really well this yet today. So I've got to be honest with you.
Yeah.
They looked good. Like they looked like they were going to perform, like you say.
Michael Penix, I'm telling you, man, he's the truth. He looked really good.
But I was impressed, especially with he just playing both sides of the ball. That was amazing. I couldn't believe that's a lot of cardio. That's a lot of endurance.
That's
Good on
yeah.
him.
You hear about that in high school, but at the collegiate level,
Yeah, that's
that's
what I'm saying.
absurd. That's crazy. I mean, that's more power to you if he can do that. And Coach Prom was like, "We got to put that man on the hot tub on the plane ride back. Get him in the recovery room ASAP." So I don't know, man, but that kid's gonna have a great year
Oh
in
yeah.
at Colorado. And also that running back, that true freshman Dylan Edwards, dude, he was quick. I believe he had 4 touchdowns. That dude's got some burst. Um, so I like the projection of where this Colorado team's going, but we'll see. We'll see how far they can
Yeah,
go this
I'm
year.
excited to see more of him.
Yeah. Well, moving on to a more somber note, have you heard about the passing of Bray Wyatt,
Yeah,
WWE?
yeah, JT. I was actually pretty upset about it. Like he's not much older than me, and
Mm,
that was a real like shocker like about it. I remember when he like came into WWE. Like he was originally like this had this character named Husky Harris, part of the Nexus back in like '09, like '010. Yeah, it was like 10. And it's really sad to see him like that. A guy that I had still had a lot of career left, like pass away so young.
yeah.
And he had a kid, he had a wife, and I feel really bad for both of them having to suffer through this.
I thought I saw a report saying that he lost his father or some close individual into his family. It might have been his uncle that suffered like a cardiac arrest or something like that. That had I mean, that surely had a great impact on him losing a family member like that, or going through a rough time. But I never was really big into his character because, I mean, you're a little bit older than I am, so I was never truly invested into his character in the WWE. I was more so into the Sheamuses, um, the Kofi Kingston, those type of guys. But I mean, he definitely had a great impact in the WWE realm for sure. So very
He brought
sad and
he
tragic.
brought a real when he came back with like the and became the Bray Wyatt and the Fiend and everything. He had like a creepy
Yeah,
look to him, and it was great because like we didn't have anybody who was creepy anymore. Really, like
yeah.
Undertaker wrestled very rarely anymore. Maybe
Hmm.
WrestleMania, that's it. So it was really nice to have another like creepy guy and also, but
That's true. Different perspective on it. Um, so the Korean Nightmare retiring.
yeah,
What's your thoughts on that?
I hate to see
Former
him
UFC.
go. I hate to see him go. He's fun to watch.
Hmm. Yeah, he had some really cool. I looked up his like I guess you could call it highlight reel for the UFC or whatever. He had some crazy moments in the UFC. I mean, he definitely a guy you don't want to meet in the street and get in an argument with. So
No.
he very respected amongst the fighters in that industry. So he'll definitely be missed. Which I never watched him a lot, but definitely one of those guys that you respect.
Oh yeah, it was time. Like for someone who never held a championship, he'll be remembered for sure.
Oh yeah, no
Uh,
doubt.
awesome to watch though. Like definitely check out some of his fights. He's got some really nice fights.
Hmm. Transitioning into the NFL. This is very interesting. Have you heard about what the Patriots have been trying to cook up? Bill Belichick has released Bailey Zappi and Malik Cunningham, so they actively have one quarterback on the roster, and that man is Mac Jones. What's your thoughts on that?
I'm wondering what is the plan with this. Why have only Mac Jones? Because like, what happens if Mac Jones gets hurt? You know, that's what everyone's immediate thing is. You're worried about injuries.
Hmm.
Mac Jones is pretty durable from what we've seen so far in his career. So
Yeah,
that should be a huge issue, but you never know what could happen. He may be looking at drafting and maybe even trading. I'm not sure.
yeah.
It's actually kind of shocking, like what everything's going on with it, because I don't know who they have a guy for the practice squad. What?
I'm pretty sure they brought Bailey Zappi back on the practice squad, but he's not on active roster. So I think they've got an emergency quarterback, but he's like a receiver. So that makes no sense to me. Why, unless you've got like a few extra position players on defense that you're trying to hold on to, trying to make the 53. Um, but most all the teams in the NFL carry two quarterbacks,
Hmm?
at least. So
Should be three personally, but that's just
yeah.
me.
So I honestly believe they're going to try to run Ramondre Stevenson and Zeke into the ground this year, like at least 35 carries a game or more between the two of them. I mean, they signed Juju. They bring him into the building. They bring back Devontae Parker. So I mean, they've got a couple of guys that are decent, threats on the outside, but nothing that's going to scare you. So they're going to have to rely on that defense and running the ball to win games this year, which I think they could. So we'll see.
We'll see if Zeke's got any legs still in him. I don't know.
Well, he's not going to be the bell cow anymore, so I think he could rejuvenate his career slightly. Not to the moment of, I mean, not to the point of where you think of him in his rookie year in Dallas. He's not going to get to that level. He's not going to make any more Pro Bowls or nothing like that. But he's going to be serviceable. He's going to get you around 6, 7, 800 yards probably this year. That's pushing 800, but I mean, he's going to get a good amount of touches this year in that offense. So,
No, I think the Patriots will be fine this year. I personally have them finishing last in the division, and people are like, "Oh, that's bad, right?" I have them finishing last in the division with like 8 wins. Like it's not a terrible year, like a
yeah,
mid-year.
one of the more competitive divisions in the AFC. It's cutthroat. It really is.
No, like no team has ever made like okay. No team from every division has ever made the playoffs in the same year.
Yeah.
Is it possible? Technically, it is. But you could have something like that. The AFC, no. NFC, you could do that because the AFC is too stacked. There's too many teams. Somebody's going to get knocked out.
That's the
But
truth.
So that's how I'm looking at it. Like the AFC is already, like you said, is very cutthroat. It's very top heavy. Not top heavy. No, that's the NFC. NFC is top heavy. Like you got great top, and like everything else is like mid. But AFC, no, you got so many good teams. It's so hard to like even get a playoff spot.
That's the truth. I think that it'll be very close for that division. Each game's going to matter. Each division game's going to matter. But we'll see what happens in New England. Question of the day. Who are you taking? Who you think is going to have the better career at the end of the day? Josh Allen or Trevor Lawrence, and why?
So Trevor Lawrence versus. Okay.
Who's going to have the better career? Not right now, but who's going to have the better career?
Right now, I'm still going to take Josh Allen.
Oh, yeah.
I think Josh Allen is turning the ball over a lot. That's one of my biggest issues with Josh Allen right now. It's just he's turning the ball over a lot. I'm not saying it's necessarily all his fault, but it is some of his fault. It's like a 70-30. Like 70% is his fault, but 30% I'll give him is not his. The O-line did not look great last year. Diggs is his only real weapon. Let's be real.
They got Dawson Knox, bro, and then drafted Dalton Kincaid.
Dalton Kincaid may be good, but like Knox okay.
James Cook.
You want to like where would you rank James Cook off the top of your head, like in running backs in the league right now?
Like 15 probably.
15. So like the most mid running back in the game.
I mean, he's yet to break out, but he's got game-changing speed. So yeah, I would have put him right around the middle of the pack.
I was just saying, there's 32 teams, there's 32 starting running backs. You got him at 15.
Yeah.
30. Yeah. So that's why I'm like,
I feel you, but yeah.
But no, that's how I'm looking at it. Like wide receivers, I'll give you like credit. Like if you're top 15, top 20, I'll even give you credit because you got so many wide receivers. But running back's a little different. I don't know. I think Trevor Lawrence has more help personally.
Oh yeah.
Right now, he's got more help.
I think coaching wise, Trevor's got it better. Doug Peterson is gonna help Trevor in his career and his growth tremendously because that year 1 to year 2 jump was progressively. I mean, it was great. So I think Josh Allen's career took him a little bit longer, to get at the top of the dog chain. So his development as a quarterback took him longer, but I think right now, of course, Josh Allen's better. I think everyone would agree on that. The only thing that worries me, he's yet to prove to us that he can win in the playoffs when it matters the most, because he has choked a few times. I mean, granted, it was a 50-50 coin toss to decide the Kansas City game.
We don't count that one because
we don't count that.
No, that doesn't count. It's just called argument.
I feel like he's got to prove this year that this is his team, that he can take this Buffalo team to the playoffs, and not just the first round, but make it at least to the conference championship. So Buffalo fans have been through a lot. They deserve to win a Super Bowl. And if anybody's going to lead it, it's going to be Josh Allen. So, yeah.
I actually found out an interesting fact since we're on the Bills here. So the Bills are the only team to ever lose 4 consecutive Super Bowls in their team. Now, I'm sorry about this, but I found another team that has went to 4 Super Bowls and never won one.
Yeah, Minnesota.
Yeah. I did find that out along with it. I was like, oh, okay.
At least it wasn't 4 in a row.
Yeah, at least.
But yeah, I honestly believe that Trevor's going to have the better career out of the two. That may surprise some people, but he's got more weapons around him in the future. He's got younger guys. He's got Travis Etienne. He's got tight end they brought back, Evan Ingram. They've got Calvin Ridley. So, I mean, Buffalo has Diggs and these guys that are going to need immediate impact. They don't set themselves up for the future. I feel like the coach, Sean McDermott, he's a pretty good coach, but I don't think he can get the best out of his players when he needs it the most. So that's the reasoning. I think Doug Peterson is going to carry them to the next level for Trevor's career and ultimately for playoff success, because last year they came back down 24-0 against the Chargers and came back and beat them.
Yeah, so I turned that game off at halftime because I'm like, this is a blowout. I don't really care. It's I don't care about either team winning, so I turned it off. And my buddy messaged me. He's like, "Hey, you finished the? Are you still watching the Chargers game?" I'm like, "Nah. What's why?" He's like, "Turn it on." I'm like, "Okay." I turn it on. I'm like, "What? What's going on? What's
Yeah,
happening?" And the Jags win, and I'm like, "What?" So
pretty
that's why we,
wild.
like we talked about before. That's why the Chargers winning their first game of the week, week one, because that's all they thought about all offseason.
Exactly. I think it's going to be close at the end of the day. You could see Josh Allen. You could say he could win an MVP next year, and I would still believe that Trevor Lawrence would have the better career, just because of the Super Bowls and the possibility of him winning an MVP is not too far off. So, not a far-fetched idea. So, I think Joe Burrow could possibly win it as well this year, but that's a different conversation.
Me, I've
So,
already told, I've already talked to you. He's my pick. He's winning MVP this year,
oh man,
and it's going to be
well,
Hashem. There's going to be no debate. It's going to go Mahomes, Burrow.
mm,
And then the three spot's really up for debate. We can see Trevor Lawrence play well this year, and then he takes that third spot. You can
very
also
true.
hear me out. You never know. Fucking Jared Goff could have a breakout year. He had a great year last year. You never know.
I'm gonna pretend that you did not say
I'm
that.
telling you, man, don't lose faith in like. I know you're a Vikings fan, so it hurts, but like you have to be worried about these Lions this year. I'm
No,
telling
I know Detroit's a threat, but you cannot even mention Jared Goff in the top three conversation.
Oh,
Like he's a borderline top 10 quarterback.
okay. Here we go. Okay, so you've got. Let's see here. Let's see here. Hold on. You got Patty Mahomes has been to a Super Bowl.
Yeah,
Then you have Joe Burrow's been to Super Bowl. So there's your top two. They've both been to Super Bowl.
yeah.
He's got 2 wins. Burrow's went, right? You could say Jalen Hurts is your third. He's been to a Super Bowl.
I wouldn't put Jalen Hurts top three.
Okay, okay.
He's like yeah,
Right?
but I know what you're saying. Yeah,
Right? And then, but what other quarterback has been to a Super Bowl? Jimmy Garoppolo? You going to put Jimmy there? No.
I can name a few guys that I'd put above Jared Goff.
Who are you taking above Jared Goff right now? Like really, think about it. Who are you taking above
Okay,
Jared Goff?
all right, I'll name them all. I'll name
Okay,
them.
okay.
So we got Patrick
That's
Mahomes,
fair.
Joe Burrow,
I'll give you both those. Those are fine. I have
yeah,
no issue with those.
Josh Allen, Justin Herbert, Jalen Hurts. Um, I would put Aaron Rodgers above him, and then I would put Kirk. I'd put Kirk above him.
Kirk?
I'd put
Okay.
Kirk above Goff. I feel like I'm missing somebody. I said Lamar already, didn't I?
Nope. You haven't said Lamar. Okay.
Lamar. Um, yeah, that's just off my head right now.
Okay.
But
So
there was yeah.
you still got. I mean, it's not bad though. Like you're making your point here. You
Mhm.
got this. You got 8 more.
Yeah,
Like you got 8
so
above him. So he finished.
I mean, Jared Goff's a good quarterback. He's not bad, but I wouldn't put him top 10. I would put him like 11, 10, 11 to like 13 range. He's right around top 10, but I wouldn't put him in there.
Like I said, just be worried. I would be worried this year. I don't know
Oh,
what's going to happen. Like the NFL last year was super unpredictable. Like we knew the Eagles were good, right? We knew Kansas City was good. We knew the Bengals were good. Everything else we really weren't 100% sure about.
mhm.
So
That's
and
true.
and my Bucks, they thought my Bucks were going to be good, but we saw that what
Yeah,
happened there.
we'll go ahead. We'll move on to the next subject. NFL trivia time. So we'll go ahead. What is the agenda on the day for the trivia we have here?
All right. So this one's a little tougher this time. So we'll see how you
Okay.
do. This is rushing touchdowns for a career from a QB.
Ooh, okay. How many? Like top
I'm
five?
gonna do top 5. We'll play around like we did last time with the top 10 a little
Okay.
bit.
Cam Newton.
Cam Newton is number 1 on this list.
I knew it. Cam Newton.
Also, just for a fun fact, the gap between Cam Newton has 75, number 2 on the list has 43. That's the big gap.
Almost say Lamar.
Nope.
Okay.
Lamar is way. I don't think he's on the list actually.
hmm. That was a little. Yeah, that was a little early guess. Steve Young.
Steve Young is number 2.
hmm John Elway.
John Elway is not in the top 5.
Okay. What's his name? McNabb. Is McNabb on there?
McNabb is not on here.
Randall Cunningham.
Randall Cunningham is not in the top 5.
Dang, I'm not doing so good on this one.
No, so one of them I'll give you. I'll give you number 3 because but it's Jack Kemp.
Okay, yeah.
Number 4 is in the league today.
Okay.
And number 5 does not play in the league, and he is not alive anymore. But you watched him play.
I watched him play.
Yep.
Really?
Yep.
Okay, let me guess for the 4th one. Russ?
Nope.
Which team did he play for? Or like, no. Which conference?
Plays in the AFC.
AFC quarterback currently. That's crazy, bro. Oh, it's not Rodgers, is it?
It's not Rodgers.
I was about to say that's crazy. Josh Allen? No.
It's Josh Allen.
Really?
Josh Allen is 4th on the list at 38 rushing touchdowns.
Dang, that's crazy.
2 more. If he gets 5 more, he'll tie Steve Young. He could do that this year.
That's wild.
And
The 5th
number
one.
5.
Passed away quarterback. Steve McNair?
It's Steve McNair.
Yeah. I was a little kid, bro. I didn't watch him. I was like
My
5.
bad. That was me. I watched him. My bad. I watched him. I'm a couple years older than you. I remember watching him. I
Yeah.
remember when he died too. I remember like it was like the news everywhere. I was like, what the heck? Number 6 is Tobin Rott. I have dyslexia right now. Michael Vick is 7. Aaron Rodgers is 8. Randall Cunningham is 9. And Steve Grogan is 10. Devontae Culpepper is 11, by the way.
I was about to say. Well, that was very interesting. I liked that.
It's a
So,
little different.
yeah, we'll go ahead and move to NFL blind ranking receivers. So, we'll go ahead and do this real quick. A little interesting. See if I can get a perfect list.
The perfect list. You think you can get a perfect list on me?
We'll see about it. I don't know, man. It might be a little challenge, but we'll try it out.
All right. So you're blind ranking your wide receivers. I got the first wide receiver I'm going to give you is Devontae Adams.
Devontae Adams. There's not going to be a whole lot better than him. I'm going to put him at number 2.
2? That's strong. Okay. I like it. I don't mind it. What about Terry McLaurin?
Terry McLaurin. Solid receiver. I feel like he's underrated now at this point in his career. I don't want to put him 4, but that's a tough one, man. I'll put him at 3.
Calvin Ridley.
4. I would put McLaurin slightly above Ridley. Yeah.
Mike Evans.
He's not better than Adams. I don't think he's better than
I would argue on you on that actually that he is better than Adams, but okay.
McLaurin. You can argue with Evans. I think McLaurin is at this point in his career better. The consistency of Evans has been there though. But currently, I would put. Yeah, I've got to put Evans at 5 because I can't put him 1. And then Ridley, you could argue would have a better year this year than Evans, so I'm not mad with that pick. But it's hard, man. That's tough. So who's my number 1?
Brandon Ayuk.
Oh God, dog. He should have been my 5th spot. Dang, man. That's tough. I shouldn't have left my number 1 out there. I should have put Adams at number 1, but oh well. That's pretty good. I enjoyed that. My list was pretty flawed though. So the tight ends in the league, and you rank them 1 through 5.
All right.
I think it's gonna trick you. I think this is a pretty good list. So with your first tight end,
All right, go ahead and hit me with my first tight end.
Kyle Pitts.
Kyle Pitts, I'm putting at 4.
Oh, are you sure?
Yeah, I'm putting him at 4.
Okay, okay.
100%.
Darren Waller.
Two.
Hmm.
I don't know what all tight ends I'm getting, but I'm thinking Darren Waller. There's a few I would take above Waller, but not many I would take above him. You know what I mean?
Yeah. TJ Hawkinson.
Now I'm kind of regret. I would actually, I would have put Darren Waller at 3 if I'd known that. So
Mm,
there are only, in my opinion, there are only two guys actually better than Hawkinson
mm.
in the league. Unless I get one of them guys, I'm not worried. So I'll put him at 1.
Yes, sir. All right. So we've got Hawkinson at 1, and then you got who else do you got? You're
I got
missing?
Hawkinson at 1, Waller
Yeah.
at 2, and Pitts at 4.
Okay, so you're missing 3 and 5. All right. Next tight end is Dalton Schultz.
Dalton Schultz, really?
Yeah, former Dallas Cowboy tight end, Texans now.
I think he's gonna have a bad year because he's playing the Texans. So I'll take him at 5.
Oh, okay, okay. Next up, we got Hayden Hurst for the last tight end, former Bengal.
I'll take him at 3. That's fine. I have no issue with that list. I think that's
Over
like,
Kyle Pitts? Over Kyle Pitts?
man, they're not utilizing Kyle Pitts. What stat lines does Kyle Pitts have that's supposed to be impressive?
Yeah, I mean, you're not wrong.
Like he's wasted talent. Like he is going to be like. I think Megatron had a great career, so I'm gonna use him as an example. But that's not any disrespect to Megatron. But like it's like Megatron. If you put
Mhm.
Megatron on like Super Bowl contenders like teams every year, like he's gonna be even better than what he is now,
Yeah.
and he's gonna have a better resume. So. Yeah, that's why I look at Kyle Pitts. I like Kyle Pitts. I'm a Gators fan. I like Kyle Pitts. I wish he actually got to play because, like, when he was drafted, they were talking about him like this tight end will be a Hall of Fame tight end, and right now he's not. He's just wasting his talent in Atlanta.
Very true. I would agree with that. Maybe they get another quarterback in there to help him out, but we'll transition to our next topic of the day. So, who is better all time college football? Tim Tebow or Cam Newton? Both formerly played with each other at the University of Florida.
Okay. So you want college? You just want college? No, we're not talking pros because obviously
No,
Cam had a better career.
no, just collegiate.
Just collegiate. This is actually pretty easy for me, JT.
Yeah,
I'm gonna be real with you because last time I checked, Tim Tebow was never a backup for Cam Newton. So
very true. Very
that's all I
true.
really got to say on the matter. If I'm being real, like
Well, if you're looking at it in statistical manner or accolades wise, Cam Newton was the first overall pick of the NFL draft. He has a Heisman Trophy under his belt,
we're not
and
talking pros. Remember, this is all college.
I know, but he like that's true. He set himself up to be the number one overall pick. He
Okay,
won the
I'll take
Heisman
you there.
Trophy. He won the Heisman Trophy, but Tim Tebow won 2 national championships with Florida. So his impact nationally was felt, I feel like, in a greater impact than Cam Newton's was. I feel like those are 2 of the best quarterbacks of all time, and easily 2 of the best SEC quarterbacks ever to play. So I would slightly give it to Tim, but Cam had a amazing, stretch over there at Auburn. But overall, in totality, I would give it to Tebow for sure.
So I've got Tebow as well. I just think he had a better college career. Don't get like that's not that. It's more like Tim Tebow had a great college career. Cam Newton had a great
Mhm.
one season. Kind of
Yeah,
sense.
that is true. What would be the defining moment where you would pick Tebow over Newton? Like what do you why would you choose Tebow?
The leadership that
The leadership.
his leadership was beyond anyone else in my opinions, and it wasn't
Mm,
just that, but he rallied everyone behind him. Like it was the Tebow show. A lot of people would talk about like in that documentary I watched recently, but it was just his leadership, his work ethic. He was ready to push people beyond anything. Like the hardest workers in the world. Like Tim Tebow said, he's like, man, I miss them sometimes, just because they were just so intense and so much fun to do with other
exactly.
people.
Yeah.
So I'm taking Tebow on. First off, Tim Tebow, I think was better running technically. So he was better. Cam had a better arm, 100%. I will
Mm,
not deny that on you. Cam has a
I
better
would
arm.
say they're pretty close in their running ability, their mobility. Cam utilized his legs a lot in college. So did Tim. I feel like Tim ran with more just run you over mentality, just move the
That's
sticks.
better.
But Cam was more of the,
Spin
I
you
wouldn't say
out.
I wouldn't say
He's
elusive,
more
but
elusive than
he
Tebow.
he,
Tebow's
he had
more
a bit more.
drop your
He was a little
shoulder.
bit. He was a little bit more agile, but he would still run you over. I feel like Tim was just like,
He's a
I'm gonna
fullback.
run you over forward. I'm never gonna get, fall back. I'm always gonna run forward and get those extra yards. So
Unless it's Derek Barry and they both go down to the same spot. I remember watching that in college.
yeah, very interesting conversation. Everyone in the comments, let us know who you have, Tim Tebow all time or Cam Newton. I think it's very close, but I mean, I
It's
would
the
give it to Tim
Tebow show,
Tebow.
baby. All he does is win.
Oh goodness. Well, to end our episode of the day, have you heard about Mike Evans and the contract disputes in Tampa Bay? I'm sure you have. And what is your thoughts?
Pay the man. He wants a big contract. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
I get that. But that like if he gets this contract, he's going to finish his career as a Buck, basically.
Mhm.
I think he reworked his contract a lot to help people out, to help bring people into Tampa. He did not take a pay cut. I was talking about him taking a pay cut before. He's never taken a pay cut. They just reworked the money, and that's fine. But it's not doesn't change the fact that like in the community alone in Tampa, he's donated a bunch of money to the charities and holds fundraisers and stuff to help out. Like he is basically what the franchise is. Like
Yeah.
if we go, I would be fine if we went 0-17 this year, and if Mike Evans and Levante David get to finish their careers in Tampa. Mike Evans has fought he's had 1,000 yards receiving, and a lot of people are like, well, that's not a big deal anymore. They added another 17 games, so you have an extra game to get 1,000 yards, and you got all these young guys getting it. I'm like, yeah, but Mike did it on 16. You like don't just discredit that just because they added another one. Look back
Yeah.
at it. Look back at the fact that he did that one only 16 games to do this. And the fact that he's really been durable his entire career. He's missed 9 games and 9 seasons.
Yeah, that's
So
crazy.
like the durability just gets slept on Mike Evans. He's out there getting done. Like he's one. If you talk about like wide receivers that can do it all, he's a better red zone for threat than 90% of them. He's a better blocker than 90% of them. He's a better jump ball than 90% of
Yeah.
them.
I mean, you got to think about the aspect of the quarterback play too. He's only had 2 years with Brady. The rest of his
Three.
career, I mean, three?
Three.
Okay, well, three. But he had Jameis Winston, man.
That's not even the worst one, man. Jameis Winston, out of the quarterbacks he's had, in his entire 9-year career, he's had 5 to 6 different starting QBs in that amount of time. So like when you were talking about the Devontae Adams, Devontae Adams is better, right? Well, Devontae Adams had Aaron Rodgers for like the entirety of his career. Mike Evans
True.
had Tom Brady for 3 years, and then he had Jameis Winston, who's a 30 for 30. And not including Mike Glennon. Like, I mean, come on, like he's went through the years of missing. He's been in the league. We've made the playoffs the last 3 years. Before that, we went like 13 years without making the playoffs. He was there for 6 of those years. He deserves the money. He deserves to get paid, and he wants to finish in Tampa. Tampa is his home now. He's from.
Yeah, I mean, whenever you think of Tampa, the Bucks, you think of Mike Evans. So that would be a disservice to him, not only, but to the entire team, I feel like across the league.
Yeah.
So,
Oh, here's another thing for you. Like, so NFL's got him ranked as the 11th best wide receiver in the league according to the NFL's top 100 players, right? So he's the 11th best wide receiver in the league, and people are like, oh well, he's 30. Well, so 30 for a wide receiver. So we're just gonna keep letting these guys get old, 30, they're done, they're out of the league. We're just gonna have guys for 10 years every year. Like that's it. If they come in at that time period too, so like we don't get them to their 20, they're in for 10 years. And like if they're good and they're out. So that's just how it's going to get to the point. Then nobody's going to be on the same team. It's going to if this continues to happen, especially with the running backs and stuff and everything, and like the pay scales for all this, all that's going to end up happening is the NFL is just going to be like the NBA, and they're going to be trading teams left and right all the time. And you can't even buy a jersey for a guy because he's going to get traded.
that's true. That's very true. Interesting statistic for everyone watching us right now. So, you sent me this the other day. Wide receivers with a 200-yard or more game last season. There's only 2 players on this list. Number 1 is Justin Jefferson. Number 2 is Mike Evans.
That's it.
So let that sit with you people as it will, and think about it. Let it resonate, because Mike Evans deserves that bag. He has been Mr. Consistent over the years in Tampa, and that team owes it to him. So we've got one more segment actually before we end things today.
Okay.
So who had the better one season in college football? We did the collegiate career with Tim Tebow and Cam Newton, who was a better all-time college quarterback, but we did not do the one season. So who had a better one season in college football?
Do you know
Joe Burrow?
what year those
Joe,
were?
what?
What do you know
Do
what year
what?
those were?
Joe Burrow's was 2019, and Vince Young versus Vince Young. It was
05.
early 2000s. So
05.
yeah. So who are you choosing between the two? I am going with Joe Burrow myself, because he statistically had the best quarterback record wise. I mean, he led LSU to SEC championship, and a national championship at that. So, I mean, he had the most passing yards in the SEC, the most touchdowns in the SEC, broke the records at the time. I mean, transferring from Ohio State, I mean, at the end of the day, no one really held him to a high standard until that Texas game when he got put on his butt after that hard hit, and then things started correlating and going only upwards from there. So I think LSU and Joe Burrow, that team was the best offense in college history ever, ever. So, I mean, just the talent they had, the statistical phenomenon of Joe Burrow in that season was not taking anything away from Vince Young, because he was insane at Texas. So I think back then everyone was watching Vince and wanted to emulate him, and a lot of young quarterbacks emulated their game after him. But at the end of the day, I think it was Joey B. So what do you think?
So, I'm not necessarily disagreeing with you. I probably would say that Joe Burrow had a better season, like one for one season. You know, I do have one thought. I want one kind of thing I want you to think about. Who was the receivers for the LSU for Joe Burrow that
Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson, Terrence Marshall,
those three
Randy
guys?
Moss's Thaddeus Moss, so tight end.
Okay, so you know all those guys, right?
hmm
Who did Vince Young have thrown to him? Who? Do you know? Because I don't. I have no idea.
That's true.
I watched it. I couldn't tell you. So I'm not saying you're wrong. I'll agree with you. Joe Burrow had the better year, but you think about it, like Joe Burrow had plenty of weapons who transitioned into great NFL weapons, as he knows because he gets to use one. So no, I don't. I agree with you. Joe Burrow did have had the better career, but he did have a lot better weapons than Vince Young did. But
That's very true.
I'll just because I'm looking at the stats here for those years comparable. Joe Burrow threw for 5,600 yards, almost 57. He had 60 touchdowns. That's for all the games, all 15 games. So he did get like 2 more
touchdowns
games.
and yards. Yeah.
Yeah, he had, pass completions. He had 402. Passing attempts, he had a lot more also, but even completion, he was better. So yeah, Joe Burrow definitely takes this. It's no real argument from my side on it. So I'll agree with you. Yep, I think you're right. I'll agree. Joe Burrow had the better career than Vince Young.
The one season, yeah.
For one season. Yes.
Yeah, I feel you. Yeah, people let us know in the comments what you think about this. Leave your thoughts. But I think it is Joe Burrow. I don't think you can really argue otherwise. I mean, you can argue about the type of defenses faced against and the talent level, I guess. But overall, the statistics don't lie. So I don't know. I like the conversation. I like the debate. I like the 1v1. Of collegiate quarterbacks in different eras. So it's pretty cool to look at.
The game's a lot different now also comparatively to then.
It is for sure. But that'll wrap things up, everybody, for this episode of the Thunder Sports Pod with JT Thunder.
And the non-stash right now.
Make sure to sub if you haven't already, leave a comment, drop a like, and check out our TikTok. check out that TikTok. It's the same handle, Thunder Sports Pod. So we'll be out of here. See y'all later.
Take it easy, guys. Peace.